enter your access code followed by the pound key. Please wait. Invalid access code. Please try again. Please enter your access code followed by the pound key. Please wait. Please wait while we prepare your files. Press 6 to fast forward for 1 minute. Press 4 to rewind for 1 minute. Press 5 to pause or resume.
All right, welcome everybody to this Thursday night. It is Thursday night, the 16th of August, and a lot of people are just anxiously awaiting where we're going, what's happening with the $15 a month option for the little guys first, for the Big Shot Initiative, and things are moving. There's a lot of stuff going on at corporate, and we appreciate everybody's patience, but it's coming. It's coming. It's not here today, but it's coming. So we just want to kind of focus on everything that we have, and we have a real special guest here tonight. And before we bring him on, I just want to share with you my perspective. When I first got serious about Nui Social, it was back in November of this past year, and I really started looking at it. I put my fingers on the pulse. I wanted to see what was being said on Facebook. I wanted to see what was being said in YouTube videos. I wanted to see who were the players, what were they saying. I started doing research online just to kind of get a sense for what was happening with Nui Social. And there was one guy consistently that was a leader and had a very systematic, steady effort in marketing. Matter of fact, he was doing, calls and still does, till this day, every Tuesday and Thursday night with his team. On Saturday morning, he was doing I kept plugging into his Saturday morning webinars to see what was happening. And he just has a great positive message. He's very professional. He's a consummate professional, but he's easygoing, relaxed. He's the type of person that I would feel real comfortable bringing a guest to hear, to present the opportunity, or to train. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring that gentleman on, but we've decided to kind of work together, and tonight is the first night we'll be doing stuff together, and this coming Saturday, I'll be plugging in with him, and I'll be promoting. And so we want to have a pen and paper handy, because Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, if you're not already plugged in, we're going to give you a simple way to do that. And we're going to give out his information also, because you could plug into the group online, or you could just go to nuilive.com. We're going to be using that domain for what we do online. And so online this coming Saturday at 10 Mountain, which is 12 noon Eastern, if you go to nuilive.com, you'll be able to plug into to that presentation, that training. And so without further ado, the gentleman I'm going to bring on right now, for most of you, he doesn't need any introduction, because he has been the face of the company in the field, operating, has a huge team, does a lot in Latin America, speaks multiple languages, and does all kinds of meetings. Matter of fact, right now he's sitting there at corporate, I'm sure in one of the boardrooms. Without any further ado, I'd like to bring on Jeremy Jenkins. Jeremy, take it away.
Thanks, Ed. Wow, that was quite the introduction. Awesome. Appreciate that. No, it's a pleasure to be on this call and be able to work with you. I could say a bunch of stuff about Ed Terranova as well. So yeah, it's going to be fun working together, bringing both sides, just all our talents that each of us has to the table to help bring this to the masses. I'm excited about it.
Awesome.
Anyway, so I'm not sure what are we doing, Ed. Are you going to interview me, or do you want me to?
Yeah. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we do it kind of in an interview fashion? And so where Jeremy and I have connected is really about the little guy. We created what we call the Little Guy Initiative because there was kind of a confusion in the field, and there still is till right now. We came out with these packages that go up, and they're really good. But really, I believe it starts out with helping the little guy succeed. The old Zig Ziglar philosophy. You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. And Jeremy and I see eye to eye on that. So kind of, Jeremy, give us kind of your history with with Nui Social and who the company is today and what we've emerged to. And so we'll kind of cover, every aspect, and we could keep it in the 5 pillars if you want. And, I remember watching you on Saturday when you talked about core, but before getting into that, why don't you tell your story of where you came from and why you're here with Nui Social?
Awesome. All right. Okay, so my story is when I was probably second year of college, I was in my 20s, early 20s, and just trying to figure out what I was going to do in life. I got roped into a meeting, right, an opportunity meeting, where I was presented with Amway, of all companies. And one thing I remember about that was the amazing concept that they taught about residual income. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it. First time, I didn't even have any concept that was possible. And it was amazing to me that a gentleman was walking across the stage talking about how he, because of his business, because of his his assets that he had obtained, he was making a couple $1,000s a month, and he didn't have to work anymore. And that, to me, was super attractive. I thought that was amazing. And I went home and told my wife about it, and she was like, huh? What? And my dad found out about it and started laughing at me and like, what did you get yourself into? But I loved the concept. And, the vehicle wasn't the right one. I didn't really ever have any success with that company, but I was bitten, right? I got bit by the bug, and I knew that I had to figure out a way to have residual income in my life because I did not want to have to work until I was 65 and then hope that I had enough to retire on. I wanted to retire young and all of that. So over the last, I guess it's been about 20 years now, I've had great successes. I've had great failures as well. And failure, as they say, all it is just experience. And that's how, to get experience, you have to fail. And that's okay because it finally, about 4 years ago, happened for me. And I was able to finally do that, where I was making a 6-figure income, and I was able to travel to Latin America and other parts of the world and be with people and do it full time. And I finally broke free from having to be at a full-time job. It was awesome. And it's once you've had that taste of freedom, you never want to go back. It's too amazing. And so I know it's real. I know it can be done. But unfortunately, I think our industry, it's got a lot of obstacles in it. As much as I love the concept of network marketing and leveraging and all of that, there are a lot of obstacles out there, and it's sad that most people can't participate, or if they do, they end up quitting in a short amount of time. And that's what I love about what we're doing here with Nui Social. That's why I fell in love with this company, is because of the founders, obviously, Richard Smith, Troy Muhlstein, Darren O'Lyon, the three of them. What they put together for us is so attractive. It's so fun because I believe it really does, as you like to say, get it to the little guy, right? Or the rookie or whatever you want to call him, the person that's just, finding these concepts and wanting to find that financial freedom and wanting to change their life. And now they've got we've got a pathway for them to actually do it that avoids all those obstacles that I had to go through, because unfortunately, when I started back when the internet was just a brand new thing, and now we've got all this stuff. We got social media, and we've got so many ways to connect to people. We've got new concepts like blockchain and cryptocurrency, all these cool things that people can actually participate in now. And I really, truly believe that with the 5 pillars that we have at Nui, this can be for anybody, that any single person out there, because of our price point, joining for free, joining for $15 a month or $30 a month, or whatever it is, or even at $150 a year, that's still amazing. It is so good, so refreshing that people can actually come in and see true value in what they're getting and be able to stick with it because they feel like they're getting value. The company I mentioned several years ago that I joined, where I was able to make a 6-figure income, it was neat because it was actually Richard Smith, one of our founders here, who came up with the comp plan on that company, and it was genius, back then. And what he's put together now is even better. But still, even back then, the idea, it was $100 and something a month, but you could, get to where you were making money quickly. So it was awesome. It changed the industry, and now I think there's 12 companies out there that have copied that comp plan. And that's what they're promoting nowadays. It totally changed the way things are done, and that's what we've got here at Newey. We actually have something that's even better than that, where for $15 a month you can join with 3 people. You can be better than free. I mean, that is so amazing. People just need to understand that. And it was funny, we got people that have been trying to be patient with this, and so there's a little bit of frustration, and so the belief level is kind of low. But brand new people, when I present this to brand new people, their jaw drops. They can't believe how good this is. So
Jeremy, let's kind of jump into that, and I'll kind of steer where we're going real quick. I think you'll appreciate it because when I first looked at it, and we talked about coming up with our own cryptocurrency and being able to have this utility coin or utility token that had intrinsic value. And the first thing was, and we'll talk about the first pillar, and that is core, compensating on real effort. But let's kind of level the playing field for everybody, because anybody who's on this line right now is kind of going through what we're going through, and we want to get this. We want to get it to the point where we have it. There's a $15 a month option, and then we're not even having this conversation anymore. We're just running with it. But I know there's a lot of people where they're not sure about where we stand with core, compensating on real effort. And that's one of the things I love about your presentations, because you spend a lot of time with Richard Smith. I talked to Richard Smith, the founder of the company, and core is an elementary part of who we are and where we're going to be. And it's going to continue to emerge as we develop the network and we develop the masses. Core will develop along with it. And I know that it's in the developmental stages, but tell us about core and how that operates and why that's a pillar. The first pillar we're going to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, the concept of core is actually one of the main things that made our company go crazy over the last year, is because it's a change from what we traditionally see, right? In network marketing, the concepts are great, the team building, the leveraging, the personal development, all that stuff is great. But unfortunately, it's always been tied to sales, right? They call it the direct sales industry, and a lot of people don't like to sell. They don't like to have a forced auto ship of a product that may or may not have real value to it. And so the concept of core was ingenious. It's combining all the good things we like with network marketing, but it's combining it with a different concept, which is paid per action, right? So instead of selling something, instead of having to purchase a product, now we're getting paid. It's based on advertising, right? It's an advertising model where we can actually get paid for doing different activities. So it actually settles really well, I think, with the majority of people, because that's what we've been taught since we were little, is that you have to do something to get paid, right? Not sell something. Selling is kind of unnatural for most people, but doing, it's like your dad says, hey, go mow the lawn, I'll pay you $20, right? Oh, okay, I'm doing my chores, I'm doing my, whatever to get my allowance, and so that's what feels normal for people, is to be able to come in and say, oh, I could join for free, completely free, go into the core platform, do the daily activities that they're providing for me there, whether it's downloading games or doing a survey or watching videos, whatever it is, and I'm going to get rewarded for that, right? So it's like a points program. We all love points programs. Every restaurant on the planet now has a points program where you get your Subway, and you get your points for getting a Subway and you get a free sandwich. That's normal nowadays, right? The frequent flyer miles, that's normal. So people feel comfortable with it. They like it. It's something they feel like they can do. And then the neat thing about that is that it's not just any kind of point program. We've actually tied it to our cryptocurrency, right? So our own cryptocurrency called Kala that allows us to take what we've done, the rewards that we've earned, and spend that in our own redemption center. We can get gift cards. We can get items, computer, things, and fun things, right, that we want. So that is the key thing. It's this little ecosystem that allows people to jump into the networking side of things without having to have the obstacles of feeling uncomfortable with selling. So I love it.
So Jeremy, I think you have a better grasp on this than most people. And I just want you to say, I heard you on one of the leadership calls where somebody had asked you a question about the conversion of points to COLA. So, because right now, guys, if you're looking at this and you're just engaged, realize that we're in the formulation stage, right? We're pioneers. We're in at the very beginning while stuff is still being put together. So the concept in Jeremy, I love this, that we could go out there and earn points and, somebody could get started for free, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But, when they do earn these points, what is a point going to be worth in relationship to COLA? And how is that going to be spent in the redemption center?
Awesome. Yeah, so the way it works is the point system is based on 1 point is a penny. So 100 points is $1. Okay? So you can basically take whatever you're doing. If you do a survey and you get paid 100 points, then you just made $1 for you. Now, the way that converts into COLA is going to depend on the value of COLA at any given time. Right now, it's at 2 cents. We know that because we had an initial coin offering, and it was being sold for 2 cents, right? And so that's the given value right now, is because that's what people were buying it for. Now, once it goes public, once COLA is actually out on exchanges and all of that, the market will determine the value of the coin, right? That's not something that the company sets. The company can't say, oh, it's always going to be worth this. Not even the United States government can say how much $1 is worth. All they can do is print more dollars, right? But nobody can actually control the price of a commodity once it's in the market. So COLA will always be going up and down. I really don't think it'll be like Bitcoin is, where it's so volatile. I think COLA will be a little bit more under control, but still, it will be determined by the market. So the thing that's stable is the points. The point system, we always know 100 points is $1, 1,000 points is $10. So whatever the going rate for COLA is on any given day, that's how you'll know. So if it's at 2 cents, and you have 100 points, then you'll be able to buy 50 COLA. And that's how it'll work.
And so I also heard you say, and this kind of excited me, because we're believers, right? We believe in what we're doing. We believe in the future of COLA, and I can't help but be a dreamer. I just can't help that. I look at all these coins, and I look at Bitcoin, being worth around $7,000 or between $6,000 and $7,000 a coin right now. And then you look at the other coins that are in the hundreds, and you look at coins. I don't know where we're going with COLA. But I'm a big thinker. So to me, 10 cents is a definite. $1, is a probable. $10 is possible. $100 is even possible. So we don't know. But imagine having accumulated points that you converted into COLA, and then you have 1,000 COLA, let's just say. Well, yes. Down the road, who knows what it's going to be worth, right?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's kind of like, that's one of the examples we're using with my Latino teams in South America, is we're giving them the example, what if you, 2 years ago when Litecoin launched, right, and Litecoin was trading it for pennies, right, and then it's gone up and it's gone up, and now it's worth, I don't even know, but, like $40, $50 a coin. So, what if you could tell people 2 years ago, hey, just jump in, do some surveys, watch some videos, do some app downloads, get these points, convert them into Litecoins, and, in 2 years from then, what used to be worth pennies is now worth, $40, $50. Holy cow. Those, a survey that you did for 100 points at 15 minutes, and you thought, oh, I only made $1 in 15 minutes, is that worth it? Well, now, you do the comparison on that, and that survey at 15 minutes basically paid $500, right? So yes, with the potential that COLA has, we have to take advantage of it right now. I know it's kind of frustrating sometimes, because you get rejected on some of the surveys, and not all of them work and everything, but it's worth it. Believe me, because as you do these things, don't think of it as, oh, I only made $1 for 15 minutes. Think of it as, oh, I'm going to be able to trade those points in for Kala, and Kala over the next little while is most likely going to go up in value. We don't know how much or how fast, but it most likely will. So what does that mean? It means that you doing core right now could make you a lot of money.
So, Jeremy, I'm going to say something that I haven't heard anybody say, but, I learned this from Tony Robbins. What if? You ask your mind good questions, you get good answers. You ask your mind bad questions, you get bad answers, right? But what if? What if, when I look at the size and scope of Bitcoin and I look at Kala, what if we really succeed? What if we really hit a home run? What if we really become that utility token that people utilize? And what if we're in the direct proportion? And this is where I talk about I'm a dreamer. I'm just saying, guys, I'm a dreamer. What if we're in the direct proportion to a Bitcoin? Now, Bitcoin, their initial offering is 21 million coins. And so Kala, our initial offering is 21 billion. That's the maximum amount of coins we'll ever have, 21 billion. So we're really talking about, that we're coming in at what, a tenth? 21 million, how many zeros do you have to add to that to get 21 billion, right? It's really like 100 to 1, is that? So even if that is the case, and we look at where Bitcoin is, and let's just say it's 6,000 right now. Well, if we took off, 3 digits, it's still $6, right? So I look at that and I go, well, what if that actually happened for us with the Kala? How much Kala do you want? It's a possibility, guys. All I'm saying, it's not a probability. It's just thinking about the future of where we go. So I think we got Kala nailed down. So that's the first pillar that we wanted to talk about. Now, the thing that really got a lot of people's attention when we started beta testing it back in November, and really got my attention, was this whole concept of mining. And I had to get an education, and most people have to get an education. And oh, by the way, the new educate component is part of core. Is that correct?
Right.
In saying that, Jeremy?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay.
So
we have a product that we're coming out with that's going to be right in alignment with the little guys first, with the Big Shot initiative, where people can actually, for a very reasonable price, start getting educated on all this stuff we're talking about, and that's going to be housed within core. But let's go into the second pillar. The second pillar is Mintage Mining. And I'm just going to give you my story, guys, and I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy. I really want you to elaborate, Jeremy. But for me, it's really plain and simple. I'm just a numbers guy. I'm a bottom line guy, and I'm pacing the floors in my basement right now. It's a pretty big basement. It's really neat. But my wife and I just closed on this house last week, and we went into contract on it because it was a pre-construction. We went into contract on it in February of last year. It's a Toll Brothers home. It's a gorgeous home, but it took that long to develop it. So we sold our house right away. My wife said, hey, it's springtime. We got to put our house on the market because we just went into contract. So we put it up in March, and we did an open house. I think it was in April, and within 10 days we had it sold. And so we had, my wife and I have been really good stewards with our money, and we had this big house that we sold with a lot of money to put in the bank. And so my wife wanted to see what the best interest rate was. And at the time, the best interest rate was 1%. And then a few months later, she found a bank that was 1.25%. So we moved this large sum of money from one bank to another bank just to get 1.25%. That 1.25% is an annual percentage. And then I looked at Mintage Mining, and I said, wow, these guys are paying out a percentage every week. And the percentage is averaging more than what we're getting in a year. And I'm like, part of my naivete or whatever you call it, or my sometimes just my thought process very, very childish. But I thought, I'm like, and I know that doesn't sound like a real professional thing to say, but I'm like that. It doesn't take a rocket science to realize if you can get as much in a week percentage gain as you can get in the bank in a year, I think we got a winning equation here, right? So that's what was my entry into this arena with Mintage. And so, kind of, Jeremy, if you could share with everybody what Mintage really is, because I just messed it up.
No, that's great. So, yeah, the cool thing about Mintage is that, it's actually creating something, right? That's what's neat for me, is this whole concept of blockchain and what blockchain brings to the table. Blockchain it's a revolution. There's all these things that you're seeing every single day on the news, from giant companies that we've all heard of that are getting involved. Everybody from Walmart to Google and Facebook. I mean, everybody's trying to figure out how to play in this new space of blockchain. So it's not a fad. It's not something that's going to disappear. This is something huge. And we're in the wild, wild west. We're at the very beginning of this thing, and it's going to be interesting to see who brings true value to the table with it. But the fact that everybody's trying to do it, that everyone's trying to figure out how to make it work, is just it proves that it actually is attractive, right? It proves that it's actually something that people want. And why? Because of the verification process. It's something that companies are going to be able to provide truth. I mean, that's the key component to it, is that because you cannot, basically do fraud with it. It's all verified. It's all something that is transparent. That it provides the people with confidence that what they're seeing and what they're getting is the real thing, and that is going to change everything, in my opinion. And so the whole idea of mining, right, that's the process. The process of doing this verification, the process of providing the service of making sure things are really what they are, that is then just rewarded with these cryptocurrencies. Now, there's, I don't know how many, 1,600 different coins out there, and some of them are mined, some of them aren't, most of them are, but the idea that Mintage can go in and take advantage of all of it, not just a single coin or two coins. Right? That was what was most attractive to me. That was what was most amazing, is that if you look at any other mining company out there, they are mining only Bitcoin or only Zcash or only Litecoin, one of them, right, or Ethereum or something. And when you bet on one horse, right, you bet on just one thing, you can crash and burn, right? That's why people diversify. That's why people have mutual funds and stuff like that, because they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. They want to have it all spread out, and some are more aggressive than others, but that's how you play it safe. And that's what Mintage provides. Mintage provides us a way to, if we want to participate in this whole blockchain and mining operation, that we can be protected knowing that their algorithm, that their AI is mining the most profitable coin, that it goes out, all of them. I think they mine 320 plus different coins, and they know which one's doing the best at any given time, and that's why their results, that's why the weekly payouts have been so much higher than anybody else out there in the industry, because they know how to do that. So it's awesome. Definitely it's a long-term play. Mintage isn't something that's going to, produce $1 million for you tomorrow. No, it's something that you've got to do over time, right? And that's why they have the 3-year agreements and everything. But it is definitely, like you said, way better than putting your money into a savings account, way better than putting it into a CD or whatever, T-bills and all that stuff. The results are so good, and it's just because you're actually providing true value. You're actually providing a service with that verification process and the mining process that big companies are looking for and want to play in. So it's great what Mintage has put together for us.
So, Jeremy, I just want to add a governing concept here. When you enter into blockchain and you enter into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and I dove in and really started trying to understand and learn from the best of the best. And one of my mentors, a lot of people know the name, is Pitochelli, and he has a great methodology and way of kind of expressing the risk factors involved. And he says, just come in small, put a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. But what he says is you should never risk more than 5 to 10% of your investment capital. You have to be willing to actually, lose everything that you put in. But when you look at what we have with Mintage and you want to explore, what we've done, and I kind of want to bring it back to where we talked about these 5 pillars. We have Nui Social is the roof, right? And everything underneath it, all of these pillars is going to be 5 that we talked about. We talked about 2 so far. They're all built on a foundation of the blockchain. But as Nui Social, we've been looking for a way to take care of the masses, right? To take care of what I call the little guy. I know some people don't like that name, but I see myself as a little guy. Zig Ziglar said that, a big shot is just a little shot who kept on shooting. And being involved in direct sales network marketing for over 29 years and spearheading numerous organizations into the tens of thousands, over 100,000 people worldwide in 65 countries, I can tell you flat out that, a lot of people will come in and try something if it's a very low amount of money, what I call an impulse buy. $100 or less to me is an impulse buy. Now, I don't know about you or anybody else, but my wife and I, we worked. I was a New York City firefighter. She worked in telecommunications. I ran businesses. I had a video production business. I had a restaurant catering role. Got involved with direct sales network marketing. Still, we kind of at times reached agreement as to how much we would be willing to spend without consulting each other. And so when I look at, a price point of $15 or $30, not only here in the United States can people make an impulse buy, but even in international markets, people can make an impulse buy. So here's what's coming out, guys, and whether it takes us another week or so or it takes to the end of whatever it takes, it's coming. The corporate has committed to it. It's just fine-tuning it, getting everything to work properly, getting the payment solutions on board. But the membership is going to have an option. It's either $150 annually or $15 monthly. But we wanted to bridge a gap that was created for a compliance purpose, and that is to activate. To activate, it used to be that we could buy a very low amount of a agreement in Mintage Mining. And because of the regulators, because of the lawyers, we had to change that. So we said, hey, how do we go about helping that new person activate with something that is reasonable? So it used to be a minimum of a $25 contract. Well, what's being developed is an educational component that's just $15 a month. And what it actually does is for less money, it pays us more. It actually has given us a 100% pay increase. It's really incredible because that $15 a month product is going to pay out just like the $15 a month membership, which is 5 to the enroller and 5 up the tree. So I wanted to cover that for those who are wondering, what is all that about. So what's coming, guys, we're in it before it starts. The secret, if you want to call it the secret, is to get in before the whole world knows about it, to position yourself in front of the masses before the masses react. And that's exactly where we are right now. So like Jeremy alluded to earlier, the people that are seeing it for the first time, man, they're buzzed. They're excited. And as soon as that happens, it's going to be lights out. We're going to grow like crazy. And so let's finalize these 5 pillars and then bring this to a close because we've already gone a little bit longer than I expected to. So Jeremy, the center one we talk about, let's just hit these next 3 real quick. The center one we talk about is Kala, right? And I like to say Kala is the lifeblood of Nui Social. So tell us a little bit more about Kala.
Yeah, so what really needs to be understood about Kala, I mentioned blockchain and the whole mining process and verification and everything, and most people have probably heard of Bitcoin, but I think one of the reasons that Bitcoin has not been universally adopted yet is because it's not, really utilized, right? You can't really spend it anywhere. It's not a utility coin. Most cryptocurrencies are what we would consider investment coins, right? They're just a commodity like gold or silver or something. It's you can consider it digital gold, right? And it's a good thing, but it's not really heavily utilized yet. Not a lot of places can take it. So the neat thing about Kala, what makes it so unique and so special is the way we mine it and the way we can spend it. Because of that ecosystem I mentioned with the redemption center and everything like that, and the way we can earn it by doing our core activities, and it's so different. It actually has backing on two sides of it. The way we mine it, backed by advertising dollars, or the way we mine it with our Kala rigs that we'll talk about here in a minute, it's also backed by real companies that want to utilize that whole blockchain verification service. So you have real money on the back end, and you have real money on the front end as you can spend that Kala in a redemption center. You can spend that Kala to actually buy things that you want at a discount, right? I know people that go crazy trying to buy gift cards at 10% off, right? There's, I can get a $100 Amazon card for just $90. Wow, that's great. I'm saving $10, right? And they'll go scour the internet to try and find that kind of a deal. Well, that's the kind of stuff we'll have in the redemption center, where you can actually convert your points that you've earned from real advertising money and turn those into Kala that can now save you up, from 10 to 50% off on items that you want to buy anyway. Wow, that is real value. That gives it intrinsic value. That's the number one complaint I hear on the internet is, Bitcoin doesn't have any intrinsic value. Where is its intrinsic value? That's why it hasn't been universally adopted, because there's no value there. Well, guess what? Kala has that value. It's going to be amazing.
So that's the first three pillars. And realize that each one of those pillars is its own income stream. Every pillar we're going to cover, all five pillars you can make money in. So I know a lot of people love the idea of multiple streams of income. Well, housed underneath the Dewey Social Opportunity are actually five distinctive streams of income. And so let's move into the fourth one because it's so exciting, and that is what we refer to as the rails. We call the rigs and any other hardware that is constructing this blockchain that we're developing. So we're developing our own blockchain, and all of the hardware, the rigs, the routers, soon to be the nodes, everything that it takes to build the rails that the locomotive runs on, right? And that's the analogy we're using here, is the blockchain. And so we have one pillar that is the hardware, and we can make money. And again, I'm in my basement, and I had my rig hooked up in my daughter's basement for a month. I just moved it over here today, and I got it reconnected, and it happened real quick, and that's great. But, this is just another way for some people. Not everybody is in the market for a rig. Not everybody can afford a rig. But, with the routers, and you're going to share that, this gives people the ability to mine right now Kala, and eventually in the future mine a lot of other stuff. But, I did share my testimony. My rig so far has mined over 260,000 Kala in just a little over a month. So I'm pretty excited because, again, I'm a dreamer. And I'm going, wow, imagine if it goes to 10 cents, imagine if it goes to $1. It'll be incredible. So I'll kind of shout, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to just say it. It's my goal. My goal is to, over a period of time, be able to accumulate at least 1 million, Kala, and if it ever gets to $1, that means if that mining machine, mines over time, say the next 3 years, 1 million Kala, then that mining machine will more than have taken care of the cost of this house. So I'm excited about that. That's a goal of mine.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, same thing. I can testify same exact results. I've got my rig, and coming up on a little over 300,000 Kala in just over a month. And if we take the current going rate at whatever it is, 2 cents, right? That's a pretty good chunk of change right there. And then, of course, if it goes up in value, even better. So, yeah, Kala rigs, amazing. And what they're doing with it, it's changing everything. I mean, the fact that we have more hash power right now than even the Ethereum network is just unbelievable. It's unbelievable that in just over a month and a half, little old Nui and Mintage, what we put together is better than what others, done in years. So, yeah, I'm excited.
So guys, that's the fourth pillar. And then the fifth pillar is our team building structure. And, Jeremy, if you could just share with us, the basics of what it is, without getting into all the great details. But, I'm just a math guy. And I'm just going to tell my story real quick. I got started back in 1989, and at the time I had my video production business, restaurant and catering business. A friend of mine that was in the concrete business brought me to a guy's house that was in air conditioning and refrigeration business. And they started drawing on this whiteboard and said, hey, if you know 5 people that'll buy into this, and they know 5, that's another 25, and they know 5, that's another 125, and they know 5, that's 100, that's 625, and if they know 5, that's, 3,125. If you add it all up, you got about 4,000 people. And then they started doing some multiplication. I'm like, oh my goodness, who would want to do this? And so, we have a real neat, plan here where, you can get started with just enrolling 1 person. But to max out this plan, it's the simplest thing I've ever seen, is 10. So I just love the number 10, right? 10 will get 10 will get 10 will get 10, 10 to the 4th power. And so, Jeremy, if you could tell us a little bit about this team building structure and how it works, that would be great.
Yep, awesome. So the team building structure, really it's based on this whole concept of leveraging, right, and duplication. It's the first thing that you learn when you get involved with network marketing is how to go from linear income, where you're just getting paid by the hour, right, to where you actually now can get paid geometrically, which is where you have assets that produce for you. And so that's the neat thing about it. More than just an affiliate program, it's, like you said, it's something that starts to multiply and grow, like the penny that doubles every single day for 30 days. You think about that, and who would imagine that a penny that doubles every day for 30 days ends up being worth over $5 million? It's just, I don't know, it's crazy the way that works, but it happens. And I've seen it where you start out and you think, you're having a struggle to just get 3, then you're having a struggle to get 10, but then next thing you know, those 10 went and got 10, and they got 10, and the next thing you know, you've got 200,000 people on your team, right? And it's just, it's the way it works, and it's mind-boggling. But the cool thing about it is that, as we talked about in the beginning, with this comp plan, we can actually get people to where they're making more than they're spending each month with just 3 people that they get involved at such an easy price point of $15. It is something that no other network marketing company I've seen in the history has been able to come up with that will increase retention. Because if you really want to have success in this, you got to have retention. You got to have people stick with it. When the most frustrating thing I've ever seen in network marketing is having to recruit faster than your people are quitting on you. You recruit one, and by the time you've recruited your second one, that first one's gone, right? You're like, and it's all you can do to just keep up and keep your 3 people going. But with our price point and with our comp plan, we will have true retention. It will be absolutely amazing to see how this works when people start realizing, it's like you said, at $15, that's throwaway money, right? That's something so low that most people, they just don't even remember, or it's too much hassle to even try and go and cancel because it's like, it's only $15, right? And if they even just get 1 person, now they've reduced that down to 10 or less, right? And so it's something that will actually be amazing for people to see how having retention keeps them in business. And so I'm super excited about it. I learned about residual income from my dad when he started his own company, probably been about 15 years ago. And, he went from making $50,000 a year to over $500,000 a year. And I asked him, well, Dad, how'd you do that? Right? And he said, well, it's because now instead of trading my time for money and a salary, working 8 hours a day, I now have employees who go out and work and bring in value, and I'm able to take advantage of that. Well, that's exactly what we're doing. Now we can do what J. Paul Getty said and earn 1% of 100 people's efforts rather than 100% of our own, and take advantage of this concept. And when you think about it, the power of a penny, right? The power of 50 cents. It may not seem like much, but when you multiply that geometrically over, a few months of people coming in and coming in and coming in, it can turn into $500, $1,000, or more, and that's just the beginning. It's awesome.
That's great, Jeremy, and that's what I like to call the mechanics of wealth. Right, the mechanics of wealth, it comes down to one word, and it's called leverage. When you could leverage yourself through the efforts of others, leverage yourself through the money of others, like Tony Robbins calls, the effort of others and other people's money, other people's effort, that's where network marketing comes in, and we're going to do some amazing stuff here. So we want to thank everybody for calling in tonight. I hope you enjoyed this call. If you're just listening for the first time, get back with the person who introduced this to you, and just tell them, yeah, I want to give it a shot. And so let's stay tuned. We're going to see where we go regarding our time slot and our days. But right now we're committed to 2 nights a week presenting the new social business model and product offering. And on Saturdays, Jeremy does a fantastic job. Jeremy, I'm going to be there with you, at least watching it. If not, if you want me to contribute a little bit, I'm more than happy to. But Jeremy, if you can, give everybody your Facebook group, that if they're not a part of it yet, they can become a part of it.
Yeah, so anybody that wants to be in my Facebook group, look for Team Kaizen 360. Kaizen spelled Kaizen. So Team Kaizen 360 is my Facebook group. You can join us there. And then if you want to register for the webinar, it's just teamkaizen.us.
And chances are, if you got the text for tonight's call, you're already a member of the Little Guys First text broadcast list. If you're not, or if you want to share it with others, just have them text the word NUI to 31996, and that is the way in which we're going to continuously update people as to the stuff that's coming out. So I will set up the NUILive.com for Saturday's broadcast, and we'll all gather at that point in time. So Jeremy, this was a blast, man. I think you and I make a pretty good team. This was fun. And we're going to have a lot of success and help a lot of people. So, guys, with that being said, I just want to remind everybody, no matter what happens in life, the best is yet to come. God bless everybody. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on Saturday. Thanks again, Jeremy. Take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.